I was going through my wardrobe, my closet, trying to figure out what I was gonna wear. I was gonna wear like a dress shirt, but as you can see, I got on a Jimi Hendrix shirt. I'm a huge fan, but one of his songs is "Bleeding Heart," and I'm all about the love aspect of life. That's why I chose it. I love you. I love. We have another guest with us, Ashley. She's listening in. She's going to start a podcast soon, and I'm so grateful to have her here as well. Ashley Joseph, right? When you gonna start your podcast? Cool. Y'all stay tuned for that. Um, but she's special to me because she tutored my daughter in the third grade, and with the public school systems in the third grade, it's a little rough, but we got through it. So thank you for that. So, Lady V,
Yes,
you've created multiple platforms, right?
yes,
We have Lady V Speaks, No Sad Story, and Cry Out to Get Out. Um, all of these are rooted in hope and transformation. And when people ask, who is Lady V? Like, how would you describe the heart behind everything you do?
the heart behind it all, um, the first two ministries came out of pain. No Sad Story Ministry came out of pain of my parents, my mom attracting praise from my father, and Cry Out to Get Out came out of pain of tragedy that occurred when my goddaughter was living with me and her two sons, and her abusive husband broke into my home and tragically shot and killed her, his son, and committed suicide. But Lady V Speaks is a combination of pain mixed with the joy of thriving. So I wanted to introduce a new person coming out of the ashes of pain and sorrow, and stepping into soaring, thriving, and seeing the joy and the peace and the financial um, sustainability that can come out of the pain and tragedy.
I'll never forget the day you went up to the podium at church and you talked about the domestic violence,
Yeah.
that story. Thank you for sharing that. And you and I had a conversation. I've experienced some things as well. But my point is, you had an aura around you. I knew you were like beyond special, anointed, and you are a blessing. And we are grateful to have you out here doing your work in the community. So I want to personally thank you. Um, what inspired the phrase "no sad story," and how has that mindset guided both your ministry and your personal journey?
Well, the phrase came from my mom when she was diagnosed with full blown AIDS back in the early 90s. That was transmitted from my father to her when she was losing the weight, when she had the shame and the stigma that followed her as an evangelist, as a mom, as a lover of people. And she started getting rejected, and the rejection of people that she had poured into and that she had ministered to. And when you would ask her how she was doing, my mom would always say, "No sad story."
Wow, that's so powerful.
And because she had a foundation in her relationship with God,
That's so important.
she was sustained even through that trauma.
Mm. That's like I said, that's powerful, and blessings and respect to her and you as well. Um, do and I'm gonna go back real quick to that first like thing we talked about. So, are there a lot of men that talk about being on the abused side of domestic violence?
No, they have not. We established Cry Out to Get Out, Unmasking the Mask of Domestic Violence back in 2021. And since then, we have been on the platform of speaking to audiences, speaking to women's groups, speaking in October, which is the awareness of domestic violence. But we have had a approximately 5 men that have, so to speak, come out of the closet with their trauma of experiencing domestic violence. And we've had approximately, I've dealt with and have been introduced and worked with approximately 150 women. So 5 to 150.
Yeah, it's just tough to open up the trauma.
It is, most
It is.
definitely.
It
Most
is.
definitely. But the ones that have exposed it to me personally, those men are still, we are still in contact.
Right. And I got to be careful because, this is rooted behind like respect and love.
Yes.
So I do have a story to share. I'm going to do it in a professional and a respectful way. I'm not going to share it right now, but it will be included in my book more than likely whenever I write it. So, and thank you for your guidance up to this point and the guidance that you will provide in the future. I'm so indebted to you. Like, I'm so full of gratitude.
I will be gladly and honored to walk with you through your journey.
And I just want to say this for any guys out there that have dealt with that. I know a shout out to Pastor C.T. Kirk. His book, Breaking the Silence, came out, and it's about men being vulnerable. You can try that tough guy act all day you want, but until you start doing some serious, like reflecting and healing, you're going to be stuck in that cycle.
Exactly.
And I mean that with all due respect. And, that's from the heart. So shout out to anybody, both men and women dealing with domestic violence. So
I have a mantra. I say, what is not revealed will never be healed.
there it is.
So the more that you get the desire, the more that you walk out of the fear of revealing, the more you would walk into healing.
Absolutely. Now, many know you as a powerful speaker, obviously, and a woman of faith. But before the spotlight and the stage, what was the process of healing that brought you here specifically?
Well, I didn't realize the trauma that was behind parents that was infected or that HIV/AIDS carried. I didn't know that until I encountered a divorce after 25 years of marriage to my first husband. And as I was going through the grief of divorce means that something died. And that was another death that occurred. So while I was experiencing divorce, I was led to a grief counselor, Renee Carter in Charlotte. And she helped me to expose layers of grief that I didn't realize that I had not uncovered. So while I was going through the grief of divorce, I thought that's what I was going to her for. I realized that I never grieved properly over my parents and forgiving my dad for taking my best friend, my mom. So during that transition, she had me to write a lot. And that's when I really started my journey of journaling. And as I journaled and through my journaling exposed feelings and emotions and buried thoughts, I started exposing that I really had a story to tell. And 7 years after going through the grief, the trauma of losing my parents, I met an awesome guy online dating. And my husband now of 12 years allowed me to express my thoughts and all of that journaling in a book called No Sad Story. So that's how I was able to express, get through those traumatic times and seasons because I had someone to help me walk through it. I realized I couldn't do it by myself.
Shout out to your husband.
Amen.
As you were speaking, my brain got to going and I was getting emotional, A lot of people can relate to this because we all lose our loved ones. Yes. Everyone grieves. Now you have to be respectful in how another person grieves.
That's right.
Especially if someone loses a child. Like, Don't tell them how to grieve. Don't put a time stamp or a time frame on when they should get over it. Like I could say a lot right now, but I'm not. Just with grace, give people grace is all I'm gonna say, and I'm gonna articulate that way. Please give people grace and respect them and their boundaries. So, just gonna say that. And what is it about like people opening up and being vulnerable about grief? What is it like? What's the resistance? Do you think? Where do you think that comes from? Are they scared? Is it fear that people might like? Do they feel ashamed and judge them? Yeah, right.
People that are grieving, people that have experienced trauma, have to feel safe enough to expose it. And then we have to realize, which I didn't realize until I was going through this trauma, that your brain has a way of protecting you. And your brain only allows you to remember as much as you can handle.
Right.
So if your body and your mind and your emotions is still at a 10, and your brain will say, well, she can't handle all of this, all that happened, until maybe 1-2 years later.
You think it goes to your subconscious kind of?
Exactly. And it's suppressed.
And then like a moment can just trigger that nostalgic feeling, and then you could just be in the middle of the grocery store and maybe break down or something,
exactly.
you know?
Exactly, triggers.
Whew.
So that's why it's so important. If you need a grief counselor, please get one. If you need a therapist, it's okay.
I had therapy today at 12, and I needed it, and I love it. I love it. Shout out to my therapist. I ain't gonna say no names.
Yes. So men, women, children, families, I would definitely expose you, would want you to be exposed to a therapist or counselor.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I said that would be good for you.
I was just going to mention that you and I had an appointment to do the podcast about a week or so ago, and we had to cancel. We are on God's time.
Yes.
With that being said, I had told someone that I was disappointed because this may very well be the most important podcast that I do in my lifetime because of what you do and what you're about. And these conversations are very important. This is a safe space for us to talk about this, and people that this will touch, it will give them the opportunity to say, hey, man, maybe I need to go contact a therapist, get in contact with a grief counselor, maybe go with your mom, your niece, brother, sister, whatever you need to do, go as a group, support each other, heal as a family, because everybody's talking about breaking these traditional curses, these generational curses. Well, how can we, you know what I'm saying? How can we break them if we still sitting in this stuff? It's okay to sit in it and feel it, but you have to get help.
Exactly.
You have to get
because
help.
while you're feeling it, you are out of control. But your therapist, your counselor is there to help you to control it while you're sitting in it. Yeah. And that's why I recommend it. I will sit there with you. Hopefully the 23rd of this month on my mom's birthday, her heavenly birthday, I will be certified as a mental health counselor, coach. And so it's so important. I thought that it was that important that I go and get certified to do it.
We got to protect you. If you ever need me, call me.
Yes.
I'll bring the goons. Excuse me, gangsters and gentlemen. So we're going to switch gears here. Thank you.
Sure.
Now, on your site, you talk about helping people find their voice and, after pain. Like, what are some of the most common struggles you see in people who are trying to rediscover purpose after trauma or loss?
They have an issue of trust. A real serious issue with trust. Because they feel that if it's a loss of a mom or dad, they feel like they were the only people that they could trust. So everybody else that's living, off the million of people that's living, they feel they can't trust anybody else. So that's why it's so important for you to have a village before tragedy or anything like this happens.
I love my family and I love my church family.
So I believe that that's how I got through the traumatic trauma that happened to me April the 8th, 2020, during COVID. In the middle of COVID, my village still came around me and helped me walk through this with their mask on, with the gloves on, everything. they still came because that was a village that I had no idea that I was going to need them at that particular time. But guess what happened though? I was sowing into them before the tragic happened to me. And that's how I was able to form this community and this village before it happened to me.
And I know, like, going back to like middle school, high school, I believe like our cerebral cortex doesn't fully form until we're like 25 years of age. But with experience, life experience, knowledge, and wisdom that you gain, reflecting back on those years, you didn't. Well, we didn't want to talk about that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
Because my homeboys might think I'm a coward, or they might call me fill in the blank. But from what I've learned is you're more of a coward for not speaking out. And at this day and age, if somebody make fun of you about that, cut them off.
Exactly.
Give them grace. Just distance yourself.
That's right.
And pray for them.
Exactly.
And handle your business.
That's true. That's really true. That's why the Bible says you reap what you sow. So what you sow, if you've been isolated all your life and you've been withdrawn all of your life, guess what's going to happen when something happens to you? You're not going to have someone that you can trust.
All right.
But you do it before it happens.
Yes, ma'am.
Make it a lifestyle, to love people, to be around people, to be interactive, and to reach out to them.
Absolutely. How do you help someone move from just surviving to truly thriving?
Help them to discover the gifts and talents that they have inside of them. Help them to appreciate what God put into them at birth. Help them to discover it. And the ways that I find that's very efficient in helping people to discover their gifts and talents and what they can appreciate about themselves, what make them up, I have them to write it down.
Journaling is important, right?
Journaling is very important.
I'm a hypocrite. I've been saying I'm going to start journaling. I just, it's a resistance. There's actually a book out about resistance, but I got to get to it.
That's right. Habakkuk said, write the vision down and make it plain. And they that read it will run with it. Who's the first one's going to read what you wrote? Yourself.
Yep.
So, you're the first one that's going to read it, and you're the first one that's going to run with it.
And
so
I am
write it down.
Right, and I'm my worst own critic. I am, so,
Yes.
Now, you've said that faith is an action word, right?
Yes, it is.
What does that look like in your day-to-day life and ministry?
Well, first of all, my faith has to be in someone that's greater than me. And so my faith is directed to God, who is the creator. He made me, so he knows all about me. So if I want to find out something about me, I go to the creator.
Like lately, I was just going to say this is kind of off subject. Not really, but like I was like brushing my teeth yesterday or something. I was in the bathroom and I got done brushing them. A thought came to my head. I had to get down right there in front of the toilet. Like not like sitting on the toilet. I got down in front of the toilet and prayed. Like on the spot. That's what I find myself doing nowadays. Just like I'm not like, hold on, let me get done doing this. I'm gonna go to my room and no, like right here.
Right there. Okay.
Why
Johnny
not?
on the spot.
Yeah, Johnny on the spot. Now, were there moments when you doubted your calling? And if so, how did God reaffirm it for you?
I don't know if I ever doubted my calling. I may have not had the proper or the confidence in walking out my calling. I never doubted it. I was called at the age of 8 when I first accepted Christ as my personal Savior. My father was preaching. So I've been a Christian since I was 8. I'll be 70 next year. So I've been saved that long. I was called into the ministry at 20 years old when I got out of college. So never doubted my calling, but the confidence to walk in it, the confidence in knowing that where I'm called to be and to serve wasn't opening up as fast as I thought it was going to be. but I was serving and I was called and I was carrying out my calling even in the household where I was living with my brothers and my mom. I was serving them. I was called to serve, and that's my calling. I'm a servant leader. And so I was serving them. Didn't know that my dad was going to leave us. So my mom taught me how to cook and to serve my brothers at 8. My father left when I was 10. So my mom had to work 2 jobs. So in between her jobs, she would come home. Her dinner was cooked, house was clean, homework was done. Because I cooked, she taught my brothers how to clean. And my oldest brother was responsible for everybody doing homework. So she was preparing us at that time to carry out our callings, our giftings. Right now, I have 2 brothers that's in the ministry, 1 brother that's a bishop. All of my brothers are saved. So we were being prepared for calling at the young age. And so she was our example of how you carry out, you still walk in your calling no matter how life is lifing, you still walk it out. Right. And wherever you go from your day-to-day activities and routines, you're still walking out your calling. When you meet that person on the street, when you go to your job, or when you go to the grocery store, wherever you are, you're still walking out your calling because it's the word that you give and you serve people with. That's how you're still walking out your calling.
Walking it out, yeah. Got to bless them boots before you put them on the ground.
That's right.
I want to kind of circle back because you said something very important to me, and I'm living proof of what you said. Mm-hmm. You know, graduating college, working at jobs just to make money, no real like end goal, just going through the motion in the hamster wheel, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of us have been there. Mm-hmm. Very frustrated. Why am I have a higher purpose? I just don't know what it is. I got to do something. I got to start a business, do something. But when I surrendered, that's when the veil on my eyes was taken off, and I was seeing God do His work around me. But obviously, internally, it happened with me, and that's when I was like, I'm gonna do this podcast because I know a lot of people, and I'm doing this with like true intent. I want to help people. My personality, my sense of humor, my ability. Like looking back at jobs that I had where I had to speak on a regular basis, you know what I'm saying? Not necessarily public speaking. That still kind of petrifies me at times. You know what I'm saying? But right. Like this right here is cool because it's just a laid back, authentic conversation. You know what I'm saying? But my point is turning a negative into a positive is what I'm all about, and using those skills that I have obtained throughout the years of my past jobs to now put it to a good use and to allow God to have His way with me and use me. It shows. So what you said is very factual and very true. And if you don't believe it, just look at me. Look what I'm doing out here. And then there's no braggadociousness about that. I'm just saying just to give you clarity on how I'm able to do what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. I would not be able to do this without God. Jesus Christ.
Now I'm gonna help you walk it out so you can put a dollar sign on it.
Every time I talk to my mama, they go, I had a podcast with someone, so we did a podcast. Did you get a sponsorship? That's my daddy. Did you get a sponsorship? Like, Pops, man, the money gonna come, man. I'm just out here trying to help people right now. I'm not waking up going and chasing a dollar bill. That's been repeated before.
Sowing into a season. You're sowing into and harvest. That's right.
And I want to say a special shout out again to Troy Harris because he jumped on board quick. He was my sponsor for a while, and much love to you, brother. I'm still waiting on that T-shirt and that apparel so I can rock it while I'm recording these things. Anything I can do to help, man, I love you. Now we're going to talk a little bit about empowerment in the community, and that's what this is all about. Yeah. So Lady V Speaks empowers women, men, and families. What's the most rewarding part of seeing people realize their own worth and value?
It relieves stress.
Right. We all need
it relieves stress. It gives a confidence. And it also gives a pathway into their greatness, their own personal greatness. It actually opens up the doors for them to walk into, quote unquote, their calling. So when you realize what you have on the inside of you and put a title on it and put confidence to it and put a system to it, then you can walk in your greatness. And that's what I do. That's what Lady V does.
Wow. I'm just kind of like having an out of body experience. The fact that I'm even sitting here with you still, I'm sorry. So as someone rooted in both ministry and community outreach, like what role do you believe the church should play in helping people rebuild their lives?
I believe that the church is the door for people. They're not only members of their church, but those that are associated with that church to come into that door and find every resource that's available, every resource that the memberships or the community needs to be found in their church. That's the way I believe that the church should be set up. That every resource, when they come into that door, suppose someone says, Pastor, I need someone to help me to assist my family and I with housing. Pastor says, oh, go see sister or brother or whoever over there. They have a resource for you. I need help for, we just had a tragedy in our home and we lost everything we have. Oh, go see sister so-and-so. She's right over there. I believe that the church should consist of or know every resource that's available for daily living.
Dare I say it, symbiosis, once again, ladies and gentlemen. And I see that going on over there solo. Shout out to everybody. I love everybody. It's amazing what's going on in the, the tragic hurricane, Jamaica. Yes. So I joined about like 2 months ago. Mm-hmm. Like the first day I came to visit, I joined. I haven't missed a Sunday yet. You know what I mean? I look forward to it. Like every day, I look forward to the following Sunday service. Mm-hmm. And I met an individual, Sharika, about a year ago. She had a restaurant over there at the event center where my daughter plays volleyball at. Mm-hmm. Had some of her food. Fast forward, she joined the church a couple of Sundays ago. And I'm actually going to go there after this because she did a fundraiser as far as like selling plates, and all of the proceeds go to like hurricane relief in Jamaica. And what's very important to notice here is it's not all about like Kingston is a very, very big city over there, I believe. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. It's the other smaller cities, the villages, what they need. They're going to need reconstruction. Mm-hmm. And given this platform, the ability to have people on here to share their experiences, their voices, we can get the word out. That's why these podcasts are important. That way we can all get on the same page and know what's going on, to bring the community together as one to come up with a solution. Who knows a contractor? Who has a contracting business? Who's a carpenter? You know what I'm saying? It's beautiful to see people come together in the face of tragic events like that. So major blessings go out to the people of Jamaica and everybody else in the world.
That's right.
For that fact. Now, for those in leadership positions, how do you suggest balancing compassion with accountability when helping others transform?
Their own personal. Personally, if I don't take care of me, I can't take care of anyone else or help to take care of anyone.
Gotta be a little selfish.
You gotta be a little selfish. You do. So the first person I take care of first in the morning is me and my father. We have a little talk first. I have to do my daily devotion first of all. He's the first one I talk to. If I talk to my husband, he's the first one I talk to. And then after that, I have to take care of physical. Got to take care of physical, mentally, emotionally. So what haven't I said that I need to say? If I can't say it, I journal it. If I can't get to that person that I need to talk to, something that's been on my mind, something I need to say, I journal it. I write it down. I got to get it out. I can't go throughout my day with something blocking my thinking emotionally, mentally. I can't do that. So I release it in the morning, first thing in the morning, because it's fresh. It's there. It's right there. So I release it before I leave out the door. And then after that, I have my schedule and I do what I need to do.
Gotcha. Yeah, it is important to wake up, and you know, it's kind of hard not to look at social media when you first wake up, when you're using your phone as an alarm. I steer from that, man. I get up, get my alarm, do what I got to do. But see, for me, I honestly I get a lot of my praying and meditation done in the sauna. Get in there, suffer a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Get a little uncomfortable,
Mm-hmm.
voluntary suffering.
Mm-hmm.
And you mentioned like the physical, it all the spiritual, the physical, the emotional, it's all tied in
Yes.
together.
The whole
I'm
person.
I'm telling you, it is.
Yes. It's very
And
important.
yeah. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. I mean, I could elaborate, but
Mm-hmm.
go for a walk,
Mm-hmm.
do some body weight squats, do some push ups, whatever you need to do just to get the heart rate up and be healthy out here. That way you can be all the way locked in. Locked in. Um, you wear many hats: author, speaker, founder, mentor, mother, wife, and minister. How do you stay balanced and spiritually centered while doing so much for others?
I put it in segments. I have to put it in segments. I have to have an agenda, and I have to. My calendar and my calendar is my best friend, and so I section off days and times for myself, for my husband and I, and then for ministry. And this year, beginning of January, I made a vow to myself and made a constitution to myself that I would only, starting this year, I would only go and attend events of people that have celebrated me. If you haven't celebrated me last 3, 4 years, I'm not celebrating you. I'm not going. So it cut down on my calendar a whole lot this
I
year.
bet it did.
A whole lot this year. So I was home a lot this year, needless to say. But I had to really come to grips with that, for the last 4 or 5 years I've been going to everything of yours, everything right there, donating, contributing to yours, but you never reciprocated. So off the list.
That's the magic word right there. I was
Off
about
the
to say
list.
reciprocation.
Yes, exactly.
That goes for any and
Yes,
everybody.
right. In relationships. So
Exactly.
we eliminated some things. I had more time.
Nice. Well, good for you.
Yes.
I'm glad you did that. Now, you often mention turning pain into power. Can you share a personal moment when that transformation truly clicked for you?
When I experienced the tragedy on April the 8th, 2020, um, after probably a year of therapy, grief counseling, I couldn't go back into my home um, because of the emotional trauma for 3 months after. And then when I did go back into my home after my husband had everything painted and new furniture in the dining room where the tragedy took place, I still wasn't comfortable. I didn't want to be left home at night by myself. Um, he had to make some noise before he came up on me, behind me, or beside me. It was just too many triggers, too many triggers.
Right.
So I think when I came to the conclusion of one session with my therapist, I told her, I said, I'm going to have to tell my husband that we're going to have to move. And I said, and I think when we move, I will be able to share my story and turn this into a ministry. And she says, well, why don't you just concentrate on moving first and then think about sharing your story and turning it into a ministry? And I told her then, and I just sensed it in my spirit. I said, all of it's going to be at one time. And she said, okay, Miss Valerie, okay. So I had to find out how I was going to tell my husband that I felt that it was time to move, because he wasn't there the day. Thank God he wasn't the day that it happened. So his response and his action and his healing was different from mine because I was right there in the house. So she suggested that we go away, and I tell him away from the house. So I planned a weekend, and we went to Myrtle Beach. And while we were in Myrtle Beach, we were walking on the beach, and I told him, and I asked him, could we move? And he said to me, he said, I was waiting for you to ask me. I said, really? I said, why didn't you suggest it to me? He said, because I know you love the house. I said, I don't love it no more. And so from there, we started planning. And while I wanted a brand new home. And so for a year, we moved into an apartment. And during that year, I started journaling again. And I came up with the name Cry Out to Get Out, Unmasking the Mask of Domestic Violence. And I started writing, which hopefully the book will come out next year. And I started writing in my journal. And that I knew then, as I was journaling, that pain, I started sharing the story without crying, without triggers. And that's how I knew that it was going to be a powerful movement.
That's real growth. That's serious growth right there.
And so now I can share her story without the crying, without the triggers. And I can actually share it with joy because I know her living in that tragedy was not in vain, but it was to help someone else.
Please give me a heads up before the book release, and you're more than willing. I hope you accept to come on my podcast, and we do one to promote your book.
Most definitely. Thank you.
And again, shout out to C.T. Kirk.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes, a lot going on out here. He's doing God's work, to say the least.
Yes.
He's in Florida.
Yes, he is ministering at someone's anniversary, pastor's anniversary there. Yes, he is. Yes.
Now, what advice would you give to someone that's listening who feels God calling them to something greater, but, the fear keeps holding them back?
I would say to them, ask God to connect you with someone that can help you walk through it. You can't do it alone. You cannot do it alone.
It's that pride sometimes that get in the way, ain't it?
No, I think I don't think it's pride. I think it's fear, and it can be a lot of times when you're not sure, you don't think someone else will validate it. You don't think someone will be confident in walking with you because you feel like you don't know where you're going and they won't know where you're going either.
Okay, I'm not going to say I misspoke, but the pride thing, I would say, definitely gets in the way of men being men being vulnerable and saying that they need help.
To say that they need someone to help them walk through. Okay, yes.
You see what I'm saying?
Most definitely. I would say so, sir.
Yeah.
Yes. With women,
no man is above God. So
right, that's true. With women, I think it would be more of they want to have everything in line first and then invite someone to come in. They don't want someone to come in on their mess. It's all messed up. They don't want no one to walk with them through their mess. But that's where Lady V comes in. It's all messed up. So I'm going to help you walk through it so we can form a system, get it organized.
And, one thing that I've experienced is, walking this path of faith is, people see what's going on. And I've had conversations with some people, and they're just not really ready, and you can't rush anybody. All I can do is, through my actions, show you. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So my prayers go out to everybody out there that's hesitant to surrender, or you're in a state of confusion, or if you're in any type of dealing with any drug or addiction issues. That void is that's gonna leave you to death and destruction.
That's right.
But the other path, what we're doing is not. This is the way to glory and eternal greatness with God, and I can't stress that enough. So now, let's say, Lady B, like, if you could have the listeners, like, leave them with one word, like one principle or one scripture that captures your life's actual, like, message. If there's one that you could, boil it down to, what would it be and why?
It would be Proverbs 3:6 in the Amplified Version. In all your ways, know and acknowledge and recognize him with capital letters, and he will direct your path, make it straight, smooth, remove obstacles that block your way.
Beautiful. Thank you. Well, I appreciate your time. I feel like we could just sit here and just talk for another hour. But I know you probably got stuff you got to do. And Ashley, thank you for being here as well. I would ask you to come say hello on the camera, but you don't want to, do you? You gonna let me come on your podcast one of these days? Okay, thank you.
It's so nice meeting you, Ashley.
And when you're ready, you more than welcome to do an episode of mine. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, this is another episode of the Dap and the Hook podcast. I appreciate all my listeners. Please subscribe. The love is reciprocated and the constructive criticism is appreciated. Peace and love. Thank you.
Thank you.